Hello and welcome to Don't Feed the Geeks, presented by the Long Island Comic Guys, the masters of the geeky verse. Well, welcome back, Geek Freaks. I am TC, joined as always by JJ's not here. He's on vacation. But ToyStory is here.
What's up, guys?
And our very special guest, our interview guest, it's been a while since we've done an interview, Cliff from Lost4Toys in West Hempstead. He's on location today. Cliff, how the hell are you, buddy?
DC, what's going on, Comic Guys?
What's up?
We're doing great. I mean, thank you so much for having us again. Psyched to be here, and yeah, man. Psyched.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
yeah, man, Cliff. All right. I'm glad you were able to join us. This is an official invitation. The other one was the casual Instagram one. So before we get into our interview with Cliff, we just want to remind everybody, if you're not already subscribed, please do so. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell so you get the notifications for each episode when it comes out. If you enjoyed what you saw, give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, you don't have to give us a thumbs down. That's fine. And if you're curious, if you want to interact with us more, hit us up in the comments, or you can reach out to us on our social media at LI Comic Guys and at Don't Feed the Geeks podcast. And we're on Facebook too, right? Somebody does that. JJ monitors the Facebook site.
He does that usually, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Cliff. So this is it. It's official. You're here. I think we did your origin story when we did the Geeking Out live on Instagram, but I don't remember what you said. So let's do it again. What is it that got you into this crazy world of geekdom? Share with us today.
Oh, wow. Well, obviously, the storefront, we're 9 months in already. We opened up during the pandemic, and so far it's been so good. Everything's been great. We started collecting. I've always been into it, always been into toys. I really got back into it when I was working my other job. I worked for the phone company. And I'll never forget that a buddy of mine had came in and had all of the Marvel Legend figures. No, excuse me, it wasn't Marvel Legend. It was McFarlane, the movie Maniacs. So here I am in the break room, and he had, it was like Jason and Leatherface and Freddy Krueger. So the hunt began, and that's where really the collecting aspect came into it. So here we are running into all the Toys R Us's when they were around, the KBs. We were looking for the variants. I think I said it prior. I believe that like McFarlane is the founder of the Feast. He started it. He revamped everything when he started coming out with his action figures. So that was.
So you mean like on the collectible side? Like he's what really made it like into like a collectible item, right?
Yeah, 100%. He definitely brought it to a different level. The realism of it was just unbelievable. So we started collecting from there. When I was on my hunts, we started going to local comic shops. And then I ran into my second love, and it was Bowen Designs, which you can see behind you with all the statues. You understand that the love for it.
I've got a couple Bowens over there.
Amazing. And that's what it was. So then we started collecting the Bowens, and from that point, I wound up talking to a couple local comic shops, finding out what I would get if we did like a wholesale, if we bought a number of items. And then we started doing the accounts, and we started selling online. We did eBay and it wasn't Amazon at the time. It was a lot of eBay. And I think it was 2001, we did our first Comic-Con. It was with the Big Apple with Mike Carbonaro. I remember it was like in a little dingy church, and we had the table set up. We had all the statues in front of us. And I want to say it was like the show opened up at 10 o'clock. And at 10:15, it was one of those things where we made our first sale, and we were like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." two statues sold. We were psyched. I don't think we did a sale for another 3-4 hours. That was like the first show. We traveled around. We did all over the East Coast. We were basically in Long Island, but then we started getting out to Boston and Connecticut. We did Chicago. We were in DC and Virginia. And the shows grew. So it was tough though, because doing a full-time job and having a toy business, it was, like every time you did a show, you had to have a killer time. You had to make sure the show was amazing, and it wasn't always like that. So we suffered for a lot of years. We ran into a lot of problems in 2019. To give you a little bit of a sob story, you know what happened. We had a horrible show out on the West Coast. We had pallets that were missing and lost. When they were found, they were destroyed. We had the van broken into. So it was like really, yeah. I mean, in 2019, we were done. We were pretty much calling it quits, and everybody knows me. I hated the business for like the last 10 years. It was just not fun anymore. And then, a few things turned around with the pandemic. Online business picked up, and it just became fun again. And things were selling. I was making money. I was enjoying collecting again. And then, obviously, I was talking to my partner Danny about opening up a storefront, and he was totally on board. And I mean, pretty much everybody I knew was against it, but we went. Oh my God, it was horrible. I mean, my mother was like, "You don't do this. It's a pandemic. You don't want to get involved with it in a retail store. You're not going to do well." And my brother was telling me, the business is not what you think it is. And, people don't collect like that. People want to, they're buying more necessity, things for necessity and all. But we opened the store. We turned around, got the keys on November 5th. It took us literally 3 weeks. We tore this place apart. We put a new floor in. We ripped the carpet up. We did the walls over. We put a slat wall, the roof, the entire lighting. We got all new fixtures. We did every single thing, including getting merchandise on the floor within 3 weeks to the day.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, listen, there was a lot of love put into it. We wound up opening up the day after Thanksgiving, and honestly, it's been great. We're learning every day.
I mean, considering the time of the year it was a pretty nice crowd too. You controlled it due to the restrictions, but there was some people waiting outside. I remember coming in on Black Friday, the only shopping I did on Black Friday.
and honestly, I appreciate the support in the business, of course. It was wild. It was. We were safe. We tried to keep everything good. Going through protocol, everybody wears a mask. We were trying to keep, like you said, the crowd from getting in the store. And the support's been amazing. It's been great. It's been,
and you guys have done a beautiful job at the store. I mean, everything looks clean and neat, and everything's always displayed really well. I mean, I give you guys a lot of kudos for that, because you and me both know like what some shops look like, and it's just like you walk in and it's just like I don't even want to dig in this store.
It gets a little wild. Some stores, I mean, I'll never knock anybody else. We're
not calling out anyone by name, but
their locations are what they're comfortable with. But we wanted something more. I mean, this is a passion thing. I love this. I do. Like I walk into my store and I love it. I do. It's just not a negative moment. I mean, it's been great as far as the business itself, but I mean, the love that we put into it, and I want it to be a comfortable place where the mom could come shopping for her kids, and it's not just the collector, and I want something for everybody. So it's been
and again, like I don't want you to take this as just like just praise for the sake of praise. It's totally has that vibe. Like I was telling people, like there's actually neighbors who I had never spoke to before, never said anything about your store. I was like, oh yeah, they're like, have you been to this toy store in like West Hempstead? And I was like, is it called Lost4Toys? They're like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I know it very well.
And how amazing is that? I met them the other day. I mean, I knew who they were, but they mentioned you, and I'm like, wait, what was your neighbor? And they said TC. I'm like, get out of here. I love their son, Tanner.
He's
great. He actually, we did a contest. It was we were 2 months in. We did basically like a little raffle where if you made a purchase, you got a raffle ticket, and there was I think we gave out a $50 gift card, and it turned out to be Tanner won it, and it was great because it wasn't someone I knew. When you do it,
I know you're always worried about that, right?
Yeah, you do the raffle. It's like, oh, great, TC won or Danny won. It's cool. I'm psyched, but it was good to know somebody that we didn't know won it. So he was excited. He came in, he was grabbing things. It was great. Yeah.
I mean, but that is the great thing about the store. Like you have the stuff for like the collector, like the old guy like us who are trying to hold on to childhood.
The old guy like me.
Yeah, all of us. I mean, Toy Story here is making himself look old too. Like he's not as old as all the hair suggests, but it's great. So, kids can come in. Like I can bring my daughter to your store, and she's like, she has a great time in there. She'll pick up 1 to 5 things. That she
You're cursing me out when you leave under your breath. You're like, bringing her back. Yeah.
All right, I do want to back up a little bit, though. Okay, you jumped way ahead to a whole bunch of different stuff.
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
So you have a little experience in another area, too, besides toys. And I don't know if you want to talk about this. I'm going to bring it up anyway.
Okay.
So you've done a little acting in your career.
That is, yeah, it's that I would have to say was my first love.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I miss it. I love the it's just everything about it, the excitement. I mean, I'm a huge movie buff, and what an actor can do, and the story that everything's put together with the directors and the whole team, and it's amazing. I mean, you know how it is. You get taken away when you watch a movie. So with the acting, I did it for a good amount of years. I started out with that. I was doing like a lot of background work, and I got a little frustrated with that. So we went into theater, and I was doing a lot of independent films, a lot of student films. And I started to pick up some speed. It was good. It's just that it got frustrating because so many films that I did didn't go anywhere. You know, you do these projects, you waste whatever it is, 3 weeks or 2 months on there, and you meet some great people. You meet total jerks on the set, but you put your time, you put your passion, you put your love into it, and the film doesn't get made. And half the time when you're not super famous or you don't know the right people, you're struggling and doing a lot of these films for nothing. Because I have friends to this day that's still hustling, and they're doing projects, and they have, you know, good parts on TV projects and films, and they're still struggling. It's not, no business is easy, but that business is definitely very difficult. But yes, it was my first love. I do miss it dearly. Maybe one day I will dabble back into it, but it seems so long ago. I think I lost my confidence, and like you were saying before, getting old, and you know, I mean, I still have my hair, so I still got my hair. I am getting you know, little older, little fatter. I'm not great.
So did you do anything we might have seen, or will you show us something one day?
I could definitely show you a few things. There's a few gritty projects that I did as far as very dark roles. The last project I worked on was with Stephen Bauer, which was kind of cool because I had a one-on-one scene with him, and he made sure he went out of his way to tell myself and the director how talented I was. And I'm like, wait, you're saying I'm talented? I'm like, oh my God, you're amazing. But it was cool. Awesome. It was a nice one-on-one scene. And, you know, that was probably one of the last projects I worked on, which, you know, like I said, it was a few years back. And, you know, I get calls every now and then for people doing these independent films and, you know, want me to work with them. So we'll see. Who knows? I mean, listen, it happened with Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci had walked away from acting. He was done. Yeah, he was done. He went back to the family business. He was working with a restaurant, and all of a sudden, De Niro and Scorsese, he's like, listen, we have a part for you. And he's like, no, I don't want to audition. They're like, no, you have the part. Raging Bull and the rest and Academy Awards, I think, and all that kinds of stuff. So, yeah, it's wild.
And he did Home Alone, which launched his career.
Which I do have his Funko Pop from Home Alone. I don't know if he's known for that more than anything else, but yeah.
Thank God my daughter didn't see that one. She's a big Home Alone fan now too. So, when did you first start seeing like Funkos hit the scene?
It was can I name drop? Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah, because my buddy Ralph from Toytastic, he used to be with me many moons ago, and he branched off to his own business, and he got into it first. And I saw, you know, what was going on, and I kind of, you know, jumped on a little bit with that. And it was probably New York Comic Con, I would say 12 years ago. And it wasn't huge, but it was
like 2008, maybe 2009.
Maybe even a little bit before that. It might have been before that.
Okay.
Yeah, 2008. Yeah. I kind of like lay dormant for a while. That was a year we kind of didn't do anything. So maybe it was 2009, whatever. It was around that time. But I remember, you know, The Wizard of Oz. I'm like, he's beautiful. Like, there was nothing at the time that was really nice with Wizard of Oz. So seeing that was like, wow. And then they started doing the Friends series and all that. And you know, The Simpsons. There was some things that came out. They were very But now it's so funny because you look at the earlier pieces. I mean, they're ridiculous. You know that Thundercats, the He-Man. It's insane. So I mean, yeah, I'd say like the Wizard of Oz was probably the first one I saw that, you know, jumped at me, and that's why I jumped on board.
Do you remember the first one that you bought for yourself?
Oh wow, first one for myself. I didn't collect them for a very long time. I stayed away. I sold them. I didn't collect them. I would say, oh my God, What would be the first Funko Pop? I might have to call a friend on this one. Hold on. What do you think? The first one. I'm talking to my son. If for everybody that's wondering, my little guy Gavin's in the background, and yeah, probably one of those. He's saying probably Looney Tunes. So
okay.
Nice.
For the first one, I don't even know. Yeah, I got way too many now.
I'm sure you do. And they have like an interesting history too, didn't they? They started out as just like bobbleheads or something like that, right?
Yeah, when they came, they transferred over to Funko Pops. The buyers, they hated them.
Yeah,
like there's nobody that liked them. They were just like, oh, they're horrible. You know, they were really like with the like you said, the original bobbleheads, the longer ones, and you know, it was definitely a whole different genre where they transferred over, and nobody liked them at first.
And like this Freddy guy, like, so I know there's this special Freddy Funk. Is he like the guy who they originally made the characters from? It was like they all look like,
yeah,
he's like the mascot.
Yeah, so they do a Funko Freddy for every single thing you could think of. It's wild. Those are definitely some of the most expensive ones. Yeah, they're like the high end Grails. I think there's a Boba Fett, and there's a bunch.
So would you say like top 5, like most expensive? Would they all be Freddy inspired characters?
I would say 3 out of 5.
Wow.
3 out of 5.
Yeah, and I think there's one that's a Star Wars one.
Like just straight Star Wars. That's worth. So what are we talking about? Like, what's the number one? Like, is that like the most desirable?
Is there like an Action Comics one of Funko?
That's crazy you say that, because I've never seen it, and I don't even know that it exists. But they did one of the Funko Fun Days. They did a Willy Wonka theme where they gave out candy bars, and if you found a golden ticket, you wound up getting. I think it was 1 out of 10, and it was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It was both of them. It was a 2-pack, and yeah, supposedly it's like a $20,000 piece.
Wow.
Yeah,
and it's a Willy Wonka character.
Yeah, it was Willy Wonka, and then it was Charlie, I believe. It was a 2-pack.
Oh, it's a 2. So it's a 2-pack of them.
Yes.
And how is it a 1 of 1, or is there like a few of them?
No, there's 10. 10 and
10. Okay. So
yeah.
That's insane.
So, wow.
Yeah. From what I know, I've never seen it. I couldn't even imagine owning it, but yeah, like
I would sell it instantly.
Yeah,
and I love Willy in the Wonka.
Boom,
I love Willy
sale.
Is there any character you're like shocked that they haven't made one out of yet?
Spaceballs.
Oh, interesting.
How have they not done that? Spaceballs? Are you kidding me? That'd be amazing if they did that.
And what's the holdup with it? Is it just getting the licensing for certain characters?
I would think so. That's pretty much every.
They probably have designs ready to go for so many.
Yeah,
like whenever they get the approvals.
I do have to say, this is like one of the few things where I've seen like a company have the licenses to so many different properties, and I think that's why there's such an appeal for the Funkos. It's because literally whatever you're a fan of, there's a Funko for it, and you can collect it. Like you mentioned Friends before, or like Seinfeld. I know you have a ton of those in store, or like Willy Wonka. Back to the Future.
Angus Young here.
There you go. AC/DC. Come on, Angus Young. It's insane.
It's just everything.
Everything.
Like, literally whatever you're into.
It's crazy too, because they're getting into. They're doing comic book covers now.
So yeah, it's like
I have
the Action Comic they did.
I have it right there.
Yeah, it's insane.
I
mean, it's amazing.
In the box.
Yeah.
And then they do the album covers, so they did a wonderful job bringing the industry around. I mean, they're definitely a big part of it. Now they got the Funko Soda. They just got a license now with I think Panini cards, so they're doing sports cards now. So I guess it's gonna be some. I haven't seen them yet, so I gather it's gonna be like a Funko Pop with a sports card behind it. So it's interesting. They're trying to find new ways to keep on reinventing themselves.
That's funny.
Like, I mean, I know you talk about Funko, but it's like with our store, we're not just Funko. We sell everything you can think of. I mean, we deal with all kinds of action figures, and we have statues, and we do comics, and we have shirts and hats and book bags, cups. We have original artwork, all kinds of prints. So we're, Funko is definitely a very big part of our business, but we are definitely a collectible toy store. We have things for, like you said, kids stuff, and it's we wanted to be well rounded. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, no, and I definitely think you guys are. And it's funny that you actually brought that up, because I was going to say, actually, besides Funkos, what would you say is like the store's biggest seller. Like, and I'm including some the sodas in that too.
Sodas with Funko, yeah. Right after Funko, it's comics.
Yeah.
And,
wow, really?
Yeah, and we don't even have a big section of comics, but it's wild. It's just, you know how it is. It's insane how people are so driven to buy comics now. You have people that never collected, and they want to come in and they're curious about key books, and you know, they don't mind.
The comic collectors have like doubled over the last year.
Yeah, well, you have different kind of money getting into it now. I think CGC was just bought by a corporate company, and so they're seeing the money with CGC.
Blackstone hedge fund.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Which I don't know if it's going to hurt it or help it, but yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they can get any worse at this point.
Well, yeah, I just found out my grade on my Morbius Amazing Spider-Man 101. I was pretty ticked off.
Ticked off.
No, it was horrible.
I got a grade on my, so I have an 8.0 on that, and I was like, I thought that was pretty rough, but apparently, like, it's not easy to get a high grade on those.
No, I'm
There's
getting
just certain books, that they're just beating them up.
A 1.5. That's what I got.
What?
Yes, I mean, I know there was a piece of the cover ripped, but they said that the cover was detached, so they damaged the book even more, and it went down. But I know there's comics that are ones that have no cover at all. So how can that be with like missing a piece or rip and it's
frustrating.
Yeah, it's very, very frustrating.
That's a whole another conversation.
Yeah.
You can join us for that show too.
Yeah.
So you have a ton of Sideshow too. So you actually have an account with Sideshow.
Yes, correct.
So I was actually telling ToyStory before. I was like, you get new Sideshows, and I feel like you don't get like 10 or 12 because I know they're not that easy to move. But the ones you do get, you move them pretty quickly. I remember like hesitating for a second on that Superman, Clark Kent to Superman Sideshow, and you're like, it's gone.
Oh man.
Like I said before, I feel very fortunate. It's very humbling. We built up in the 9 months a very good customer base with the store, but we've been doing this for 20 years. So I have a good customer base besides that, a good support team. So people knew who we were before the store. So yeah, we do get some Sideshow stuff in, and it, I'm very fortunate for it to move out as fast as it does. So, and you're right. I order maybe 1, 2, sometimes 3, 4 pieces, but it's never more than that. They're big. They're hard to store more than anything. That's really.
Listen, I tried to display as many as I can. I'm like, you can see some of these. They're packed in as much as they can be, and I still have like 18 that are in the box.
It looks amazing. It does. It looks amazing.
It's just like I need more rooms, but I'm not allowed to escape from the basement with the statues.
No, it's such a shame. I need a separate house just for my collection.
I was thinking about that too. Don't get me in trouble here. Maybe we'll go halvesies. We'll come
Fair
back.
Yeah, seriously, we could do that. 100%.
Yeah, I'll never be home though. That's the only problem.
That's the problem with the store. I love being there. That's it. I do.
What would you say, like, and I don't mean to put math on your plate here. What would you say, like, percentage base between how many customers you have coming in that were existing versus how many new?
Wow, that's not that's an interesting question. I don't think I've really tried to break that down. We definitely got a good amount of new customers when the store had opened up, but I would say for my return customer base right now, I want to say 80% are probably new customers.
Wow,
that came in when the store opened up.
Wow,
I mean that has to be the ratio. I mean it's wild. It's wild how many new people came in to visit, and they love the store, and it's just they've been return customers since. But yeah, it might be,
I mean, appeal and look is such an important thing too. Like, even if you're not getting someone to buy that first time they're coming in, they come in, they look around, and your store is definitely one of those stores where people linger for sure. There's a lot to see, and they're going to take it in, and maybe they didn't buy that day, but they're going to tell someone else, and they're going to come back. And I think that's the greatest thing about having a store, to be honest with you. I mean, there's at least overhead and stuff like that you have to worry about too, obviously, which is balances it out. But I mean, like the number of people you bring in compared to like just doing the shows has to be such a huge difference, right?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But that's why I was saying like 80%, because I've noticed, just like you said, someone comes in the store, they might pick up a little something for the kids, and then they tell, all their other friends, and all of a sudden a group of kids are coming in, you know, teenagers, young adults, and 5 or 6 of them come in, and then the next week one comes back with 2 other people. So it's definitely starting to pick up speed, and it's pretty wild.
And you said like this again. I witnessed this when you were doing your whatnot. Is it whatnot sale?
Yeah,
I didn't realize how big. And you know, I should have, because I have seen a few of the customers in your store start to really pick these up. But these sodas have like exploded. Like, when did these things really start?
It's crazy. Yeah, we started getting them in when the store opened up, and at first they were okay. And like you said, we were dealing with a few people on Whatnot, and we were wholesaling stuff out. And then you know, we kept our order pretty high, and then all of a sudden people got wind that we have it. And the reality is, you go to bigger places that are more corporate, you know, people are opening up the sodas, looking for the chase. The biggest thing with the soda, though, is it's chasing the chase. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're making it fun. First off, the packaging is unbelievable. I mean, it's cool. This little soda can.
The can's the best part of it.
It is. And the pog, it's amazing. So people are running to find these chase. And that's what they love about the store here, because there's chases out there. I don't look for the chases. I open up clean 6-packs. I put them out there, and you know, people come in hunting for them. But yeah, the soda's all, that's what it's all about. It's the packaging, and it's wild. Like, you saw it on Whatnot, our first auction, our first live auction. It was crazy. I mean, that was just another outlet that we started on, and I'm psyched to be part of that site. And I'm looking forward to doing another one also.
So since we brought that up as well, so how did you like that experience? I think you're probably the first person we've really talked to who's done a Whatnot. Like, how did you like how it went? I know. So the thing about that is you can do auction and buy it now sales, right?
Yeah. The one thing they need to fix, and it's funny because I was talking to one of the guys one of the head people that run the site. Mm-hmm. Every time you do an auction, you have to scan things in. Yeah. So that's a little difficult, because if you have stuff listed on their site, you can't just transfer that over to the live auction. Now, granted, everything you put on auction, I understand you have to scan, but there should be something where you could transfer over. And there's another thing too that they don't have, where you can't put full sets up. Like you said with Seinfeld, you can't just put up an auction of buy it now for all 8 of them. You know, I don't know how to create that auction unless I'm missing something. Yeah. So they have to get a little more to times with that. But the experience overall was cool. It was definitely a learning curve. Excuse me. We took a hit on a handful of things, but we learned how to set the times as far as not let the auctions run too long. You know, you have to have a good tempo with it, because if you don't have a good tempo, it's just, you know, it's like anything else. People are just like, oh my God, this guy won't shut up. You know, the auction's 5 minutes long and they want to move on. So you gotta make it quick. You gotta make it fun. And it was definitely a learning curve. So I enjoyed it. Obviously you know me, I could talk till the cows come home. So it
was a fun night. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I was in attendance for a little while, and I had a good time there. It's just fun. I love being in that environment. And I know you know, even with the conventions, we only did like a handful ourselves, you know, before like COVID hit and we stopped doing them. I mean, I think eventually we'd like to start doing them again for sure. I think we need to get, you know, proper equipment and racks again and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it's just fun. I love being at shows. I love, like, you know, talking to people who, it's like it's literally, and the same thing with your store. It's like you're going to a place where people speak the same language as you. Like, you know, like when you're around like family and friends who know about this stuff but aren't into it like you're into it, it feels like they're like prodding you with like all these questions, and it's just like, it's like nonstop where they don't know. Meanwhile, like, you know, when we're in the store and we're all chatting, it's like, you know, we can have a conversation that, like, you know, any, you know, Dan, Dick, or Charlie will come in and be like, what the hell are those guys talking about?
You nailed it. It's like being with familiar people, family, of course. It was like today we had I want to say 15 or so people, and it was all different groups, and one person's talking about anime and the other person jumps in. They're like, get out of here, you collect this guy's like, oh. I went to Funko Headquarters, and it's just like it was insane, like the conversations. And it was just like, it was so many different people from different backgrounds, and here they are, everybody shared a common interest, and it was cool. Like you said, it's just, and you learn, like when people come in and talk about anime, I'm just learning about anime. It's like every day when they come in, like we're learning something. Someone mentions something new, and it's like it's cool. It's definitely an exciting, fun thing. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's my favorite part about it too. And it is crazy diverse too. Like you see, like I was like, the comic book fan literally touches everyone from race, religion, sex, credo, whatever it is. It's
You
just
nailed
like
it.
there's someone who's a comic book fan in any category that's out there, to be honest with you.
And any position too. Like you have CEOs of companies that are major comic collectors, and whether it's the blue collar worker or whatever it is, it just everybody loves it. It's crazy.
I mean, there's a huge the huge head of my company, and I won't say his name because I'll get in trouble. He's a huge Star Wars fan. He has the entire first set in the original boxes, sealed and graded, in his office. Like he's got like original Star Wars posters in there. I mean, he's a huge Superman guy. I mean, it's just it's awesome. I think he's got I mean, he's got like Babe Ruth. Like he's a Yankees fan too. He's got Babe Ruth signed balls like in his office. It's just like it's cool to see like that level of like appreciation really across the gamut of people out there.
No, it's awesome. And back to the shows too, like you said with the shows when you were doing them, I love the shows, like you said, because the energy and the different people. But getting back into it, the last two shows that we did, the shows weren't bad. It was just grueling on my body.
Yeah,
it was just something. Yeah, it was by the end of the week, and I hated it because every single part of my body hurt. It was like then you had to break down, and it's raining outside, and like stuff is wet, and you're like, this sucks. I was like, I just want to be in my store right now. So, but the good part of it was, besides moving product, we gained so many customers by doing local shows. Like every single person that came into the booth were like, the shop's 15 minutes away, stop by. And people came in, and like we keep on saying, they're loving it so far. So
that's great about doing local shows. Like, the shop's right here, 15 minutes away.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great for networking.
Versus like New York Comic Con or something, like, oh, where are you located? 3 hours up north.
Exactly. Like, yeah, we'll see you. Never.
We'll see you next year.
Yes. Exactly. Same spot. Yes.
So what's the rarest pops that you've had in the shop or you've sold, in your pop career? Or I guess it doesn't have to be a pop. Maybe like the rarest item you sold.
I'm only laughing because my son's like in the background going, he's giving me all these signs to tell me what's sold. We've had an insane amount of pops come through the store in the 9 months. I mean, we've been buying collections. It's been crazy because there's things that I bought that I didn't even know. Like you were talking about Star Wars. Yeah, you were talking about Star Wars. And it's crazy because like you take the original Star Wars, they were calling them blue labels. And there was like a bigger writing on them. I had no idea. So when I bought them, it's like, you look at it and you go, okay, Boba Fett's $25. The box just had different writing on it. It's like a $250 pop. So we had an insane Star Wars collection come in here. That was all original blue label. We had the entire Breaking Bad set that was in here at one time. Scott Pilgrim. We wound up getting a hands on the Back to the Future, all those pops, and the one that just came out from Plastic Empire that was a Comic-Con exclusive. We got our hands on those. So it's just we've had as far as like price wise, it's crazy. We've had some very, very high end pieces come through here. And then like you said, Sideshow's been in and out. Some comics. We've had some great comics that are still in the store and that have moved. It's all over the place, TC. It's crazy.
Yeah, the Spider-Man ones that were there that I didn't have, I took those though. You had some doubles left, Gully.
No, that actually the 9.6s went this week, so they're gone.
Did they? That's awesome.
Yeah, they're gone.
Right.
I still have 9.8s, but I'm like you. I have them in my collection, so I have to keep a few things because otherwise, what's the point?
You got it. Yeah, you can't sell everything.
No, if you don't love this, there's no point in doing it.
Yeah, I've heard some dealers and stuff say like, I'm a dealer, so everything's for sale. But I feel like you could do both. You could totally do both.
At some point, it might be for sale, but like, there's so much where I'm just not ready to let it go.
I know.
I mean, eventually,
I like seeing some dealers where they get something and they're like, "Oh, this is cool. I'm keeping this for myself." Like you don't see that too often. I feel like.
I need to. Don't get me wrong. Like when you're at a show, first off, everything at the show should be for sale. Mm-hmm. There shouldn't be anything saying, "Well, that's not for sale," because it shouldn't be there. Yeah. I mean, obviously, the brick and mortar is a little different. I don't have too many things up that aren't for sale, but I understand like a guy getting something and getting a cool comic and keeping it, and then whatever it is you bought it for, $2,000, and now it's going for 10.
Yeah.
And you're going, you know what? It's a slow month. Can I move it? Can I make this money? I got to pay my mortgage. That I can understand you moving it, but no, you have to collect. If you're not collecting, that's silly. You know, I mean, that's what the point I was at like 2019. I was there. Like I stopped collecting. I stopped ordering. I really looked down on this business. I just there was a lot of things with it that I wasn't happy with. I wasn't having fun. It was like a drone. I was going to the shows, and it was like, and then the pandemic turned out to be, I don't want to say a good thing because it's freaking horrible, but
it's nice to find like a silver lining like this.
Exactly. But something so horrible,
terrible.
Exactly. Something so horrible happening. We actually had a good story for once because I'm usually behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
So what are your future aspirations for the store?
Oh my God.
He has a list.
Yeah, I have to scroll. We had Steve Cardenas here, the Red Power Ranger, about a month ago, and we plan on going with that. I mean, I want to have an artist day where I have a few local artists. We want to do an actual art gallery. My whole idea for that is we have a little hallway full of artwork to take that down and have that local artist set up during the weekend when we close down, or obviously we'll still be open, and he could actually display his whole artwork and do maybe a commission piece or something to that effect. We want to do something more on the outside, more of a street fairish kind of like Comic-Con thing with our name attached to it. There's so much stuff that we want to do with the store. It's just crazy. I mean, I want to have
wine and cheese with the art gallery.
Have wine and cheese. How can we not have wine and cheese? I mean, that's why we haven't done it yet, because with the pandemic, we can't. It's been a little weird, but of course, wine, cheese.
That sounds awesome. That's really cool.
Wine and cheese. I'll show up.
I like those ideas.
And beer. Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, and beer. But we want to have the actors here, and I want to have, besides the local artists, I want to have bigger names here. We just started displaying one of these local artists. We had that Hulk painting that we just put up, and the guy is super talented. He goes by Jake, and we have his Hulk painting up. He's doing a Godzilla vs. Kong, which is insane. And the guy's super talented. And I love that. He came to us and we came to an agreement. We're able to put his artwork up and display that, which is kind of cool. And it's definitely growing. And who knows, maybe things go well, another year or so, we could open up another location or 2 or whatever.
That would be cool.
I mean, there's bigger. Yeah, there's a bigger picture in
gotta have aspirations.
Yes,
I want one then. If you open up 2.
Wait, you want a piece of artwork or you want one of the stores?
I want one of the stores. Oh, okay. Yeah, both maybe. I'll take both.
We got to fight with the management back there. Gavin's he's tough to deal with.
Yeah, he seems like the real big boss.
He is. He yells at me all the time. So
that's great.
That's awesome. All right, Cliff. So before we end this, how about we do some homework here and tell people, first of all, where is the store located?
Okay, we are Lost4Toys. We are located in West Hempstead. It's 558A as an apple. It's Hempstead Avenue, and it's West Hempstead, New York, Long Island. You could follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We use our same name, Lost4Toys. And
Lost4Toys with a number 4.
Yes, the number 4, correct. Yeah. All together. Like TC was saying before, we have a website, lost4toys.com. We do a lot of local shows. You can find us. We do a lot of updates with Instagram, all the social media. We'll do updates as far as when we have shows and whatnot, what's coming out. And of course, Whatnot, we do live auctions there. We sell on Amazon. We do eBay. We're on Mercari. We're all over the place. And just looking to grow, have fun.
You don't hear Mercari so much.
No, Mercari's not bad. It's fun. It's definitely cool. It's definitely there's no complaints there. So nice. And like I said, I mean, it's we love it. So I mean, everybody listening, everybody tuning in, please, stop down, lost4toys.com with the number 4. I don't know what else.
That's it. I think you gave everything. Yeah. You're good. I think if someone does stop by, it's more than likely they might run into me because I'm there quite often.
Hopefully, so a guy comes along.
Some tall creepy guy looking at all the comic books. My precious.
Cool, not creepy, you know.
No, I try not to be creepy. I'm very
we all
nice.
try not to be.
I pretend I
He
work
really
there when I'm there
tries.
too. I try to be helpful to people.
Yeah, of course. No, we love that. I mean, that's what I want. Like to reiterate a little bit on what we talked about. It's like I know I said this in our last interview that I want people to be comfortable when they come in here.
Yeah.
You know, it's not necessarily the goal is yes to sell items, but it's not even about that. It's a comfortable environment. It's a good experience, and it's just we want you to be welcome here. I don't want people to be pressured. It's
It's awesome.
Yeah,
and you're definitely succeeding so far.
Cool. I appreciate that. Definitely.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Cliff. This is awesome. It's always good to talk to you. I'm sure it won't be the last time this week that I speak to you either.
I think I might have sold the He-Man you're looking for, but I do have more coming in. So, and yes, we have all the origins. Oh, you have to see. I know I'm rambling, but all the figures that came in are ridiculous.
You just got the origins in and you didn't tell me?
The He-Man origins will be next week.
They're
all coming in, a whole line. But you know what we got in today? Not to give a plug because it's just talking, but the Suicide Squad figures, the Build King Shark, they're insane.
Oh yes, I have seen those.
Oh my god, I can't wait to open a set myself instead of putting Shark on my counter.
It's a Build King Shark, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that's awesome, Cliff. But we'll definitely be seeing you soon. And please, if you're not already following Cliff, make sure you do that. And if you're not following us or subscribing, please make sure you do that as well. But until next time, remember,
don't be the geeks.